Hello everyone and welcome to Playflow's weekly podcast for game reviewing, and today I'm reviewing Call of Duty 4. It was released in 2007 on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and PC, and was one of the most popular games of that year. I'm reviewing the PlayStation 3 version. So it's a first-person shooter game that was developed by Infinity Ward and published by Activision that was in development for 2 years. It was the top-selling video game for 2007. As of January 2008, it has sold over 7 million copies. So the game starts off with this new recruit to the SAS, which is some army force, nicknamed Soap, with a few other men such as Gaz and Captain Price. They are sent to a ship somewhere in some ocean and discover that there are these bad guys wanting to do bad stuff. It's somewhat confusing, but it's actually easy to understand when you're playing through the game yourself. Maybe the best way to describe the story is to just experience it yourself. The thing about it is it's epic. By the ending, you're like, whoa, that was awesome. And every plot hole has a twist in it, and every time you come to a conclusion of a mission, something unexpected happens. It's like a Hollywood blockbuster movie, but interactive. Words really can't explain the big, epic story that this game holds. You actually play a couple of characters, but the main one you take control of through Call of Duty 4 is Sergeant Soap McTavish. There is a mission where you play as your captain, Price, which is set 15 years ago. There is also another character from the USMC, which is another army force, but only for a couple missions in the Middle East, while Soap is playable during most of the game, such as when you're in Russia and other countries. While you're playing through the game, you also meet a guy called Griggs, who is actually pretty funny. And in the end, when something happens, which I can't reveal, hence the word spoiler, it feels like as though you've been playing through everything with them. I was like, no, when it happened, but then I was like, what the heck was that? And realised it was just a video game. Very weird, I know, but the bond that's created is in some ways very, very strange. Each character has their own personality, and the developers made them very real. They act like everyday humans, but with guns. The fact that it's an FPS game will probably just give you the thought of not another shooter, but in this game it's seriously really fun. You can fire your weapon from the hip or fire it more accurately by holding the L1 button. The game isn't revolutionary, but it's the most fun I've had in a shooter since forever. It's by all means great, but only a few changes from the average shooter, which doesn't make it groundbreaking. So when you're immersed in the gameplay, you wouldn't want to have terrible controls, but this game's default controls are all in the right position. Shooting from the hip is done by holding down or tapping R1, and aiming accurately or zooming is done by holding down L1. Special grenades, such as flashbangs, are thrown by L2, and normal grenades are thrown by R2. X is jump, circle is crouch or lay down, square is reload, etc. It's a good idea compared to other FPS games where you barely need to move your fingers to play. One of the really good features of Call of Duty 4 is that the visuals and graphics are technically stunning on every platform. The faces, the lighting, just every detail is very good. Occasionally you can find a small clip where someone's gun is going through a wall, etc., but it doesn't spoil from the technically proficient visuals. A great example of it is the prologue of the game. The first mission you play, and it's dark and raining. Captain Price is smoking a cigar and it lights up, and it just looks really good. But the biggest thing in the game would most probably have to be the multiplayer. There is up to 4-player local matches, such as deathmatch, and then up to 16-player online, but with much more options. The best thing about the online options is that you'll not be bored of it for a very long time. When you start up the game, you will only get a few options, but you gain experience in matches and eventually level up. Each time you level up, there is something you need to unlock, whether it be a gun, a power-up, or anything, really. There are also different classes with their own weapons and abilities, such as assault, sniper, and so on. After you've gained a few levels, you can create your own class with your own guns, own power-ups, and own colours. This makes for a heap of replay value. Now, in this game you don't really notice the music. It just doesn't seem to be there when you think of it, but when you're there playing, purposely trying to listen to it, it's not bad. It's war type music, if you know what I mean. It fits in well, but I would not nominate it for an award. So the story is epic and the multiplayer is awesome, but I would say that the biggest weak part of Call of Duty is the length of the single player campaign. While it's awesome and cool, the average player can beat it from 4 to 6 hours. I think that the main point of this game is the multiplayer, but the story is just too short. It would barely take half a day to complete it, but it's still fun. As I mentioned before, in the online multiplayer there is lots of replay value. I played it non-stop for ages and it was a great load of fun, but in the story mode there isn't as much replay value. Some people who also have this game like to go through on harder difficulty settings and set their own goals, such as not dying or only using one weapon during a level, etc. I guess that the only big replay value is left to the imagination, but due to the incredibly short campaign, it's easier to set goals to complete in one sitting and so on. While the story doesn't have much, it makes up for it by having a lot of replay value for the multiplayer. Okay, so the bottom line would be, if you don't have online play, as in you haven't got your PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 or whatever connected to the internet, then you should probably only hire this game because the story mode is easily beaten in less than half a day. But if you do have online, it should be your highest priority to get this game. It has fantastic multiplayer, great graphics, epic story and perfect controls. While the gameplay isn't revolutionary, it's still fun. Essentially, this could be the next generation Counter-Strike source. I loved it and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.